Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my Crop Circles Alchemy Live. I'll just wait for a few of you to join in. So I hope everyone's doing all right. Interesting times. And I probably won't go on too much about anything other than crop circles, which is obviously my favourite topic. So I'm just waiting for Dee's phone to catch up. Bodhi's saying so Bodhi's saying hello and
Keris.
showing his
Keris says hello.
Hi Keris. I'm just waiting for it to come up on Dee's, which always takes a while for you, Dee, doesn't it? So okay, so I'll just talk until it's come out and I'll wait for a few more. Live, okay.
Our daughter's on.
So okay, so hi Keris, hi Harriet, hi Samantha England, hi Sam, long time my dear, long time no see, absolutely. Sarah Nickel, beautiful fur baby, yeah, I will tell you a funny story while people are joining on. Well, it's not funny really, but Dharma, our youngest Siamese, fell out of the window. It's not dramatic like that, and we've got a conservatory roof that's sort of like, you know, the plastic, and it's like that, and there was all hell broke loose, to be honest, and all you could hear was like banging, couldn't you, Dee, on the conservatory roof, so I had to go and rescue her. But so that was the drama. Hi Maxine, hi Carolina, waving to her next door. Francesca Jane, hi beauties, hi Donna, Alex Davis, hello. So Maxine Powell, hi. Lisa Ashby, hello. So just as people start to join in, Louise, hiya. Joe, hello.
Katie Free.
Katie Free. Celestials, I've said hi, haven't I? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and hi Susan Kinsey, it's nice to see you. So as you can see, Dee, how is it showing on the back?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So, crop circles and the alchemical mystical connection. So, Paul D, because this is my favourite topic of all time, and I'm just going to show you a few books for those that you have never seen a crop circle or know nothing about them. So this is Steve and Karen Alexander. Steve is a photographer, started as a photographer. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So crop circles, signs, wonders and mysteries.
Could you hold it up a bit more because you just were looking at it? Evening to Celestial, Elisa.
Hello, Elisa. Sue Porter, hello. Seems like a long time. Yeah, this has been. Has anyone seen that?
Yeah.
Okay. We've also got Crop Circle Signs of Contact by Colin Andrews. See that?
Mm.
And this is one of my favourites. So Pat Delgado and Colin Andrews, Circular Evidence. This is a really good book. I'm not sure if it's available anymore, but if you really want to delve into the crop circles, these are good books to start you off. Okay. Hi Barbara, Cheris Stone.
He sounds thrilled. Actually, Keris, I love the crop circles.
Keris,
I've heard a lot of it before, but this one I really like. So,
hello,
yeah.
Joanne Mingo Waru.
Right, crack
yeah,
on.
Keris, Dee's got a bit of a painful shoulder, so anyone in the healing capacity who could send us some healing. I apologise if the cats are going to be running in and out. The crystal skulls are joining us today. I don't know how well you can see those. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And so I put my crystal skulls on this copper template. So it's a kind of copper grid, and they're really, really worth the money. Where did we get this from? Arista.
Arista.
So Arista, which is on South Sea. So these are really good, and it helps for the geometry, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, to infuse all of your crystals, give it a spark. And I've also got the Miru Pyramid, which is the same thing, just to show you about charging crystals. You can put them anywhere, but there we go. Okay, I'm just waiting for people to join in. Okay, I'm going to crack on. Here we go. Okay, so welcome everyone. So we are talking about alchemy. And alchemy and crop circles. So a lot of people might have never seen a crop circle. If you have seen a crop circle, give me a little heart or a thumbs up so I know how many of you have been in one, how many of you haven't. Because for the lay person or the farmer whose crop field this is landed on, they would look at them, think they are trampling damage and cut them out. But I want to talk about the really, really deeper aspects of these crop circles. And I'm not here to discuss man-made or non-man-made. Frankly, I think it's a bit irrelevant at this point. So if they're man-made, they're very cleverly done. And within the man-made circles, people that have claimed to make them have said that there is a phenomenon within the man-made as well as the what we call real, traditional, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So, let me just move on and hope you're going to be able to see this side. How well is that visible, Dee?
I'll let you know if it's not visible. Okay?
Thank you very much. Okay, so this symbol here, it's an alchemical symbol. And the reason I'm going to talk about this alchemy is because we are moving not only vibrationally into an alchemical sense of transition, all of us, globally, universally, consciously. And obviously ultra consciously, as they like to say. So everything at the moment is about us looking deeper. Does that make sense? Looking into geometry, sacred geometry. You know, everyone knows my views on what's going on right now. I don't want to bash it again, but we need to start looking beyond the three-dimensional constriction in which we are being placed. And that, I mean that through everything. So, you know, the government are telling us to do one thing. Even if you haven't got a belief system that I have, I strongly suggest just looking a little bit deeper into symbology. Because symbology is used all the time. It's used in advertising, it's used in psychological warfare, it's used all the time. So the more we can learn about symbology, and this really does tie into the crop circles, the more we can understand where we're going, where our consciousness is going, and how to uninvert it. Okay?
So Barbara was saying she's been in several crop circles and she's taken her crystal skull, Coconino. And they, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
They
had a real dance.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I will talk about our experiences in the crop circles. So I will say now as well, if you can join me on Instagram, so it's Kathy Mingo _aura. I will be going into the crop circles so you can see for yourself. And I purchased a drone, best thing I've ever bought, absolutely fantastic. And this drone, obviously, when you're in the crop circle and you don't know what it looks like from above, it can be really confusing and it just looks like, you know, lines and patterns. So when you see it from above, it really gives you the totality of what the geometry is. So on my Instagram, I will show you the above picture from the drone and then also show you what the lay of the wheat is like. So do join me on that so you can go with it in every crop circle that happens this summer. Okay? Anything dee-dee-doo-da?
No.
Okay. Right, so this is a very deep alchemical symbol and all crop circles are definitely interlaced with geometry, sacred geometry, esoteric geometry, and alchemy, or what is called arcanum. So arcane just means older and steeped in wisdom. And hermetica, so we're going to be talking about hermetics, also just means, hermetic means sealed. So, you know, like a hermetically sealed chamber just means that all of the information is embedded. A lot of this, what I want to say is, a lot of people spiritually just want everything handed to them. And without any kind of perhaps self-realization, or we all want the answers, don't we, to the bigger question without really traversing that journey to get that information. And crop circles are very good for that because there is a multifaceted sort of explanation to them, and it's very individual. It's your perception. Okay, so let's start with this symbol. So D, it looks okay.
Yeah, it's visible, it's clear.
Great. Okay, so just going to go in here. So this is called the Arcane Mystery, and it's also called the Corpus Inversion. So inversion, so with symbology and with the government use inverted symbology a lot. So we were meant to be released from our tyranny on June 21st, which was the solstice. That obviously didn't happen because they like to use inversion of sacred geometry to get more power. That didn't happen. So now it's the 19th. I'll try not to get into it.
Yeah, I've just noticed the inverted triangle.
Yeah, it's inverted
on the
triangle.
on the outer edge.
So, oh, and also just before I go into all of this, apparently the new £50 note, if anyone's seen it, on the back, it's got loads of symbols on it and coding. So if anyone's got a new £50 note, put a picture up if you can, because apparently there's a lot of symbolism on it, but also a lot of notes like algorithms and things like that, which I'm sure someone will go in and crack. Because remember, money is an inversion of power. So they use our physical notes as we always transfer power, giving power away, that sort of thing. Just seen the time, 2012. You have to smile, indeed. Okay, so can you see the man in the centre?
Yeah.
So the man in the centre is called the Alchemist or the Great Elder. So he oversees all of the geometry around here. So we've got the cube, which is the corpus, which is the materialistic and material world. You've got the anima, which is the sun. You've got, I can't see it over there.
Spiritus.
The spiritus, which is the moon. So it's about bringing our trinity of understanding. Some people say mind, body, spirit. I believe going forward that mind, body, spirit is going to change into frequency, light and sound. So I think that will be our new kind of trinity of understanding of our illumination and our enlightenment. Okay, I've written this all down about this because it's deep. I mean, that you could do an entire day workshop on this symbol alone because it's so steeped. Right, okay. So this here brings in the 5 stages of alchemy. And the 5 stages of spiritual alchemy is that will help us transcend, to transcend fear and to expand into our illumination, expand into the potential of what we are without fear. And at the moment, as we all know, we are just absolutely embedded with fear. So we need to uninvert that fear and change that for fear, because the antithesis for fear is joy. So we need to sort of bring all of this fear and joy back into our own awareness, into our sort of consciousness, into our collective consciousness, etc., etc.
Into our existence.
Into our existence, thank you, Dee Dee. Now, so there are 5 stages of alchemy, but this is about the 7 serpents of alchemy. And it's all about the planets. So on each arm here represents the planet. So the planets are represented on each serpent arm. And this is also the 7 mysteries of the Arcanum. So, and that really what the 7 mysteries of the Arcanum, remember Arcanum means hidden knowledge, is to awaken our great cosmological realization. And that means to realize who we are. And the crop circles really, really are an abundance of highlighting the mystery, aren't they, Dee?
Absolutely.
Whether they're man-made or not, it really actually at this point is irrelevant. Okay, so the great, he's called the Great Elder or the Alchemist. He's sitting in an inverted triangle. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's bringing all the energy down into the material world. So the cube
3D.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Sorry.
Cube represents 3-dimensional sphere. And then you've got the the higher elements, you've got the great flamethrower here. Okay, so and this is actually, the actual name for this is called the Star of the 7 Points. Okay. Crop circle, look, and when we, hang on, I'm just reading this. So this is all about our soul progression. So now, can you see this double ring? Yeah. Okay, so you've got the double ring. So the double circle represents the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And the divine masculine and the divine feminine are kind of intersecting with the 7 spheres, the 7 star points. Does that make sense? So what that means is it's about bringing in all of the divine feminine and divine masculine within the 7 principles and serpents of Arcanum into our 3-dimensional consciousness. Okay, with me so far?
Yeah, Kate Winter. Hi, Kate. Few orbs out and about. I thought I saw one as well.
Fabulous. So when we unravel the symbology in here, we are unraveling our own hidden potential that has been hidden to us since our birth, since past lives. So it's about bringing to our awareness all of this beautiful symbology that is still used against us, governments, corporations, list goes on and on. I've done loads of Facebook Lives on the inverted symbology, but this is actually uninverted. Now, this is all actually, when all of these letters are revealed, the word vitriol is used, okay? So vitriol, in its inverted sense, means someone that spews anger, hatred. In an uninverted sense, it means awakening to your divine essence. So it's a vitriol. Vitriol also has 7 letters. So the 7 stages of alchemy, serpents, all of it. Make sense? Right, so you've got the sun on the left. God, I hope that's right. And the moon on the right. And you've got the fire here. So you've got the fire bearer. And this is called the fledgling. So if someone is starting their journey on the esoteric path or arcane path, you would be called the fledgling. So that just means you're coming into your own awareness. And you would start with the flame bearer, because flame is an essence to, it burns off all of the dross. And a lot of our spiritual alchemy sense, which I'm going to go forward through in a moment, we have to burn the ego sense to know how it is to truly exist. And actually there's a paradox in everything, because in the crop circle community, you're not going to get bigger egos, are you, Dee, than that?
No, true.
Dee and I have been in crop circles where there's people fighting, wellies being thrown at each other, all sorts of
ego central.
Egos. And going to be honest, does tend to mostly come from the divine masculine, but there we go. Because people want to take ownership, they want to control what the crop circle messages are, and you can't, because it's much bigger than we are. Does that make sense? Much, much bigger. I think I've gone off point, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
So Barbara's asked, does the Elder or the Alchemist also connect with Metatronic Cube or Metatron's Cube for humankind?
Yeah, he's at the centre point. He would be what we understand to be Pan. So the very first deity to bring everything out of the chaos matrix into order on Pan. And obviously Pangea was when the world was just one landmass. You know, you've got Panacea, which is a cure-all pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Okay. So the man in the middle holds the key. So he is also called the key bearer. So when you can understand and become the alchemist or the great elder yourself, you hold the key to your own consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And to your own awareness. Right, so, and remember, he's also called the serpent bearer, because these are the 7 sigils or 7 points of the serpent. Right, I'm getting to the crop circus, I promise. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was 29th of July 2011 at Ink Pen, which is in Wiltshire. So for those of you that like your numerology, it was across 11 tram lines. There were 29 circles in the body of the serpent. So 9 and 2, 11. And when you bring 11 together, it's the master number for oneness. So this crop circle, and this represents obviously the serpent. Now the serpents have a lot of sort of bad press, don't they? Because they're seen as demonic. But actually serpents are linked to Kundalini rising, DNA, all sorts of things. So this was about bringing all of these spheres of divine consciousness back into oneness. And all of the circles here became completely enmeshed within here. So you can see that a circle within a circle. See here the dumbbell?
Yeah.
They were crop circles that were used a lot in the 80s, were just simple dumbbells or simple circles, and now they're just evolving. The belief system is that the circles are evolving because our consciousness is evolving. It's a theory. I'm not sure how far our consciousness is actually evolving, but hopefully it is. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's also about us going back to unity, to self, and to bring in our divine consciousness. Okay. Just another alchemical. Hope you can see that. It's a bit light, but this is very much akin to this one. So there's a lot of information, but there are your steps.
Can you read them?
Yes.
I know it's probably is it in Latin or something?
Of course it is.
Or can you give an interpretation of what?
Yeah. So we have to.
Sorry to be a pain. It's just a bit small on here.
No, it's okay. So it's calcination.
Okay.
I can't read it. It is in Latin. I'll put it out. I'll put the actual picture out so you can learn. But I've got it all here. So so this is about changing alchemy. So alchemy is about taking base metals and turning it into silver, gold. Sorry, but you need silver as the process, and I'll get into that in another crop circle. So calcination or releasing is changing pride into humaneness. Okay, avarice.
Greed.
Into altruism. Lust into balance. Anger into love. Can't read my own writing. Laziness into diligence. Gluttony.
Moderation.
Temperance.
Temperance. Is that the same thing?
And envy into happiness for all of those conscious beings on the planet, including our animal consciousness as well. You know, and to conquer, it's about conquering the ego self, so that all of, you know, pride, take out your pride and have more humaneness, you know, avarice, altruism, all of it. So it is about triumphing over the three-dimensional cube. Look, I'm not saying it's
I love
easy.
these pictures. There's so much in there. You could just spend forever, couldn't you, trying to interpret.
It's massive. So you've got water,
Fire.
well, you've got the fire, water, air, and earth.
The four corners.
But you've also, you probably can't see this here, but you've got a man who is prostrate down, so calling down to his master, and then you've got the master with his arms open. And it is also about when we conquer the three-dimensional aspect, we won't have to be in mastery to anyone else. It's self-mastery. This is what this is all about. Okay. And these are all aspects of our ego that have to go. But also, it's all about perception. And it's about moving our consciousness. So getting rid of all of these 7 layers. And there is a slide, D, that explains more of this. I'll go into it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But it's actually about coming into what is called this is called the inner temple.
Yeah.
Could be called an inner sanctum. But it's about, that represents the heart space. It represents the inner self and inner heart. Okay? And then, if you can see that at the top,
Yeah,
the phoenix rising. And phoenix rises from the ashes, and you need fire for ash. And fire is what transmutes everything. You know, when you're, okay, just say you're doing a written spell, and you're putting it to manifest, and you want to let go of a load of negative stuff. You write it all down, and you put it into a fire, you light it. The fire transmutes that into the positive aspect. Any questions?
No questions. Sam was just saying it's amazing and beautiful. And they are. I absolutely, especially this one. I love it.
There's so many. If for those of you that are really interested in this, and it is a very deep subject, I find it fascinating. I'm sure some people would look at that and just go, well,
I love
bloody boring is that? And you know, for some people it would be. But when you really go into the emotional, the spiritual, the philosophical, the metaphysical, and I suppose we would even say theosophy, I can never say that. It's philosophy. Yeah, we know that how we live our lives right now it's devoid of any true alchemical purpose.
Base, baby, base.
That's it. This one is also called the Magnus Opus.
And are there books on this? Is there a book?
There's a book. I have a book. Okay. Hang on. This we go to my.
Because I'd like to see the book.
This is my favourite. I've got a book on pretty much everything, but this is one of the best books.
The Atlantean Fugians. Okay.
So it's Michael Myers Atalantia Fugians. Can you see that?
Yeah, come a bit closer. And what's his name? Michael
Meyer. So he was an alchemist. You probably can't see it, but there's a diagram that you pull out of the end. It's stunning, stunning.
I might have to have a little look at that.
But when you read it, you'd have to read it thrice because there's information embedded. And this is kind of what crop circles are as well. Okay, let's see a crop circle.
Oh, gosh, that's good.
Okay. So this was Stonehenge, 8th of July 2016.
Is that the one we went to on our way to Wiltshire, on our way in?
Yeah. Now there's been a lot of criticism about the crop circle because these do not appear to be uniformed. However, this was weird because I've initially looked at it and I thought, well, that's crap. However, when someone did the mathematical properties for the alignment and the degrees of these, it spelled out a much deeper symbol. So we can't rule anything out. Does that make sense? So here, and again, I won't bang on, but Stonehenge is also being desecrated with this tunnel to save the old, Bojo and Matt Hancock 6 minutes to get down to their Cornwall second homes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 serpent. So we've got the serpent, the 7. But can you see here? The crescent moon. Now the crescent moon represents, I've written this all down because it is so much. The crescent moon represents female, but it also represents silver, so mercurial silver. And this is about the philosopher's stone. So before Newton apparently did actually find the formula for mercurial silver, and you cannot make gold until mercurial silver has been attained. So it's the philosopher's stone is what we're talking about. So this crop circle is absolutely embedded with imagery. Does that make sense? And remember, there's no original thought in the universe. Everything that the universe gives as way of consciousness or understanding has already been said. So no one ever has an original thought. I know it sounds awful, but the reality is that thought has been thought before. Make sense? Okay, so this is also moon and water. So she represents not only silver, feminine and moon cycles, but the bringing together of alchemy and the divine spark, okay? And all of these little dots here, there were 79, which was correlating to Stonehenge. You've got all of the actual stone, but around Stonehenge, they found loads of holes called Aubrey holes that had sticks in them, or planks of wood, or whatever you want to, stakes, and there were 79.
7 plus 9 is 16. 6 and 1 is 7.
1 makes 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, so We went in this one, didn't we?
Yeah, I think
We've been in so many, so it's hard to remember. But it's also, that's quite hard to do. You think you've got 2 men, 3 men with a plank of wood, on a rope, with a bit of foam under it, doing that within 3, maybe 4 hours overnight, because this was July, so the light hours down there are very slim. Stonehenge, you would have people driving past there all night long. No one says anything, no one claims them. So, ever. No one's ever claimed it. Have they?
No.
Okay. So, and this is also
apart from Doug and Dave.
Oh, God. About opening our world, and opening our world to the divine order, and the divine order that is in with all of us, but it would also bring us to a unity. Okay?
There's got to be more than 79 of those little dot
Apparently there's
things.
not. She's counting them. Well, I'll put it on there and you can count them. Okay, can I move on?
Yeah, go for it.
You see that?
Nice.
So this is the Philosopher's Stone. So it's the squared circle, which we're going to talk about, sitting within the Trinity world. Obviously, you've got the all-seeing eye, you've got the alchemy of the sun, the moon, but this is also 0-point field or unity. And the Celtic cross, which means bringing the 4 points together.
An infinity symbol.
And infinity in the middle. So, but the Philosopher's Stone is known for bringing all of the elements together. Okay. And it's also, I want to say about looking at geometry. I mean, you could look at that. Dee would interpret it different than I would, but that's because our journeys, our spiritual journeys, are all about perception anyway, aren't they? And how we perceive something. Because for me, I would have gone straight to the all-seeing eye, but someone else would have gone straight to infinity.
I went to infinity.
Yeah,
it's in the centre, so.
Okay, so this is explaining the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, I'm going to have to get over closer. My eyes aren't great. So this is self-work through matter. So, and you know what? Alchemy, esoteric knowledge, understanding of crop circles, linking into crop circles, it's hard work. Nothing that is worth any value in knowledge is just handed to you. It isn't. It's something, because it's a mystery, you have to attain it. You have to want to seek that mystery for yourself and unravel it to your divine self. Okay, so we've got Mercury with water, salt earth, dry, moist, cool, warm. So we've got all of the sort of polarities, the dichotomies, all in the same sphere. Unity and enlightenment. Okay. I can't read after this. So unity consciousness through thought, emotion, action, inner, outer. Unity reality, aligning our perceptions with reality, inner and outer. Alchemy, separate false from true, which is what we're living in now. We are living in the era of false truth. And that isn't just me saying that, it is the era that we're living in. Our ancients called it the era of false truth. How true is that? So when we come to the unity of higher self, and this is the natural moral law. Now don't take morals as, you know, don't do this, don't do that. The true laws of the universe. So it's to realise, actualise, individuate your true self. The Trinities are masculine, feminine, enlighten, mind, body, spirit, thought, father, emotion, mother, action, son, salt body, Mercury, spirit, sulfur, consciousness, initiation, true care, actualise self, knowledge, understand, wisdom. Could go on and on and on. Okay? And another alchemical symbol for the Philosopher's Stone.
Wow.
Is that? Can you see that okay?
Damn.
Okay. And a lot of this is about squaring the circle. So in crop circles, squaring the circle is about bringing the perfection, the wholeness of the circle is brought into the visible three-dimensional consciousness of the square. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But in Euclidean geometry, squaring the circle was deemed to be an impossible puzzle, meaning constructing it on the actual material plane was very difficult. So you have to have a perfect circle and the square that is the same area as so the square has to be the same area of the circle, even if that square is fractalized down. It can also mean to see equally in all directions and treat everyone equally, but also remember time comes in the sphere as well. Okay, I'm going to show you a few examples of crop circles of square and a circle. Been loads of them. Okay. So that
lovely.
So that wasn't only a circle that was squared, but it was a circle within the square within a circle.
In a cube.
In a cube.
Yeah.
Amazing crop circle. This next one was absolutely sublime. So this was the, you know, and look, I get that there are man-made circles, but you tell me how, because you've got so much in this one itself. These here were very fine lines. This was Mayan, and it actually read to do with the Mayan calendar. It was about the time spheres, so the I forget what they're called now, but periods of time. And then you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 6-pointed star, which represents bringing all 5 elements. So you've got your 4 senses plus your 5th, which is the quintessence, and the quintessence, which is called the 5th element or the surprise element. When you bring it 6, you bring it all into your awareness, into your consciousness.
Did we go into that one? When was that one?
Yeah, we've been in that one. God,
I don't remember.
2012.
Bactans?
Bacton, yeah.
Bactans is that the Mayan time? See, I do listen, babe.
Okay. So my favourite alchemical. So this was done in 1600s. It's got so many names, but it can be called Weary Traveller Looks Out, Man Sees Beyond the Constriction of Earth. So you've got Earth here as a sphere. This could also be holographic, with the understanding that we live in a holographic universe and that everything that we see, know or understand is actually a projection, and our mind and our perception create it into the corpus, into the reality. And you've got him looking out in wonder out to the universe, and everything is in spheres and rotating, which is actually how energy moves. And remember, time is spherical. Time isn't in a line. Time is spheres. Okay? Shall I crack on?
Crack on.
Here you go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Right, so the 7 stages of alchemy to transcend towards a lighter field and expansive view of our reality or our perceived reality. So calcination, recognition of faults, dissolution, engaging with our faults, separation, releasing our faults. I can never say this one. Conjunctio, union of opposites, and it's called the lesser stone. And remember, within alchemy, within esoteric knowledge, and within Hermeticism or Hermetic principles, everything was written in stone. And if we talk about the pyramids, the Rosetta Stone, Petra, hieroglyphs, everything was completely embedded in stone because it had a metamorphic reason for it. Fermentation, which is initiation, which I think is what we're in now spiritually. Sublimation or distillation is raising of passions and period of introspection. And by raisings of passions, they don't mean lust. They mean raising the passion for your appetite for knowledge, appetite for wisdom, appetite to turn away from the 3-dimensional narrative and think for yourself, basically. And coagulation, which, you know, when you have a cut and all your blood congeals, that actually is attainment to your true self. Question D?
Alex is just saying conjunctio is also known as conjunction.
Oh, conjunction, okay. So conjunction, which will make sense, union of opposites, the lesser stone. So this really, the crop circles for me, have always been about transmuting the 3 dimension and actually starting to understand that there is something beyond ourselves, whether it comes through man-made or not. If it's man-made, those people that are making it are channeling alchemy, however you want to look at it. Some crop circles are not man-made.
Tell you what, those top 3 are like steps 5, 6 and 7 of the AA program.
Oh, is it? Well, there you go.
Similar.
Okay, so this is what we're trying to do, and the crop circles are a way of embedding some of that into our consciousness. Right. Can you see that? So this is the St Michael ley line. So 98% of all crop circles happen in Wiltshire and happen along the St Michael line. Pretty much, they say 98% are also dotted along chalk aquifers. So crop circles and chalk and water are a very heady mix. So they think that the aquifer creates, aquifer, so it's chalk and water. When the water lines go down, it creates a bit of a void within that tunnel, and that creates a very, very, very strong electromagnetic pulse. And that electromagnetic pulse is all the way along the St Michael ley line route. It's around, you probably have a 5-mile radius, but when you look at all the crop circles that have ever happened, they're all along the line. It's uncanny, really. So the ley line, first became aware of the alignment by someone called Alfred Watkins, who was Watkins' books to do with him. And it described as the flood of ancestral memory. He concluded that a feature of the old alignments that was certain names appeared in high frequency along that route. Names with red, white, black are common, so Blackheath. So are cold or coal, Dodd, so D-O-D, Merry and Ley. The last, as we know, he used the name lines, although they have been noted that Ley is Saxony for fire. So we're back to fire again. He suggested that ancient travellers navigated using a combination of natural and man-made markers. Certain lines were known by those they most frequented by them, so that white names were used by the salt traders, red lines were used by the potters, blacks were linked to the irons, and Knapp were the flint chippings. And of course in Wiltshire you've got Knapp Hill, which is a massive place for crop circles. So anything with the word tot, dod or toot would have been acceptable sighting points, so that the Dodman, a country name for a snail, was a surveyor, the man who planned the lays with 2 measuring sticks, similar to a snail's horn, so we're talking about dowsing rods. They use these dowsing rods to literally find the ley. Does that make sense? And for all of you that know like ley lines and do dowsing, you know, I'm teaching you suck eggs here, but the Germans have a similar names to dude or dud, and that means dead. Okay?
Maxine just wants to know, are crop circles common in other countries?
Yeah, well, they're not common. There is a couple of countries that haven't had any. There was one year, France was the place. They were all in France. So France, Italy, Slovakia, Poland, Norway, they've all had a smattering, but nowhere near what we have in Wiltshire. I mean, Somerset have a few. There is quite a few. There's quite a few in Essex, but Essex also has a lot of aquifer, and you do get them in Yorkshire and some in Birmingham. Okay, so here's the St Michael's alignment. So the St Michael line. So it starts, scoot over, starts from Hopton, go to Bury St Edmunds, Royston.
Which is Essex, is it? It's Western Essex?
No, it's up on the Bolinas line, Royston. I looked from London. Hampstead, something. Ogbourne St George, Avebury, Oliver's Castle, Glastonbury, Barrow Bridge, Mump, Taunton, Cadbury Castle, St Michael's,
St Austell.
Yeah, so all the way along. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to go, there's so Barrow Mump is it's an old church that's it's near Glastonbury, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. I thought we'd been there.
Yeah, beautiful. So that is basically the now remember that the ley line just doesn't go in a straight line, it meanders. Okay?
Yeah, Francesca's just saying her and her partner were looking at a house in Cornwall this week, and her partner felt really an overwhelming connection to the earth. And when she looked up the area, it looked like they were on the ley line. He doesn't realise he's intuitive. I'm sure he is.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he is. Okay. So this is just musical scales.
Can't see that at all.
That's right. So it's the musical scales and earth resonance. So it's all about frequency, tone, vibration and sound. So you've got the conventional musical scales which sit... Sorry about this, I need to scoot in.
We need a wheeler chair.
Okay, so G, so the note G is 392 hertz. A is 440 hertz. B is 494 hertz. C is 523 hertz. D is 587 hertz. E is 659 hertz. And F is 698 hertz. So that is just the musical scale. But when we go to the Pythagorean scale, it all changes. I will also put this on the page so you can all see it. Does that make sense? Because it's really, really interesting. Because it talks about the Earth. Now the Earth's circumference is 402.87. And this is all going into the scale based on the circumferences and tone. Okay, I'll put it up so you can read it. And remember, this is the, can you see that? So this is the Schumann resonance that has been off the scale since maybe 2012. But in the last, well, since we've been locked down, the Schumann resonance. So this is what it looks like. This is when it's off the scale. When it goes completely off the scale, which we've had about 4 or 5 times, it creates a buzz. It creates a kind of a frequency that I think we're all aware of. For those of you that, I get it sometimes as well, you get that boo in your ears and you have to go like that. It's I think it's the Schumann resonance. It's about us listening to the heartbeat of the earth. Okay, so during one of my channels, I also channeled that there was another ley line very close to the St. Michael's and intertwined like a fibre optic cable. And it's called, can you see that there? It's called the Arimathea line. Okay? So the Arimathea line sits and curves in all the way along the St. Michael. So you've got the St. Michael and the Arimathea line that intersect like the serpent, like the DNA. Yeah. And of course Joseph of Arimathea was absolutely linked to Glastonbury. The belief is he went to Wary All Hill, which is just outside Glastonbury now, and it's got is it a KFC now?
Yes,
And a Lidl. I mean, you've got
yeah.
this. So the philosophy is that Joseph of Arimathea walked to Weary All Hill. He called Weary because
that
he
the
was
Holy
weary.
Bush?
Yeah, and he
Holy
put
Thorn.
his staff down because of his weariness, and that's where the holy thorn bush grew. So it's really interesting. You've got Glastonbury Abbey that's got the Arimathea well. So there's a well in the Abbey that's called the Arimathea well. So lots and lots and lots of symbology with this. I just want to show you. So this is Weary All Hill, for those of you who haven't been. This is the stump that was left of the holy thorn tree that has been there since the time of Joseph of Arimathea. Did he put his staff in there? Who knows? But I do think that when you've got kind of mythology that's orally traditioned down, there's got to be truth in that. So this is where the pagans or whoever come and put. Now, the farmer who owns Weary All Hill wanted to build houses. He was denied permission by the council, so that stump is no longer there. He literally took his tractor and he just bulldozed it. So, so thousands of years of, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So he basically took that out. So that's no longer there anymore, I'm afraid. But the point of where it is. And also the other holy thorn tree is in Glastonbury. And without fail, every Christmas and every Easter, it grows its berries. Without fail.
And it literally is a little stump, isn't it, now? Because we went there.
It's nothing now. Because that's all gone. Isn't there a bit of wood left?
There's a little, that's what I'm saying, tiny bit.
Wood, yeah.
Jackie's just saying she prefers the Schumann resonance to the 5G creating tinnitus.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's that. Okay. Right, so when we talk about the Latin mystery schools, so we talked about the Arcanum Hermetica. To study mysticism, you needed belief in the everlasting life of the soul. Check. Initiation rituals and alchemy awareness. The idea of esoteric knowledge. Conception of revelation to the immortal state, meaning we are just a transitory being. My physical body won't be here, but my soul and my blueprint will forever live in a lasting divine spark. Yep. All of this in modern day can be concluded as understanding consciousness. Okay? So when we talk about Arcanum, we're talking about these beauties. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Not very well.
There you can. It's a bit light, but you can see it.
So we've got the circles. These are huge. These little dots here are people. So you'll often get people sitting in the centre. When you go into crop circle, everyone gravitates to the centre. When they've done soil sample studies by the BLT research, which is Nancy Talbot, they would take soil samples from the middle and the outside of crop circles. And they did find that though the middle was very, very powerful, it was actually the outside that was even stronger. So you've got perhaps a vortexing of light and energy that would push it towards a circle. When you go into a circle, some people feel sick, headaches, sweating. So some circles you'll go in and you go, whoa, God, because I think some of it's radioactive. There's a lot of electromagnetic frequency. But then when you come to the outside and walk down a bit, it all goes away. Cameras don't work.
Yeah, that's really common, isn't it?
Really common, yeah. So when you go in, you've got an old camera or, you know, mobile phone and stuff. Sometimes it all go. We've had that numerous
Drains
times.
batteries.
Your battery just goes vroom, and then you'll go out and the battery will come back on.
And that's really common, isn't it?
Very common. Yeah. Some helicopter pilots will not fly directly over crop circle because their instruments go, so they don't obviously want to crash into it. So they will divert round. So yeah, I've got to show you this. I did try and get on the theme of crop circles, but it is interlaced.
Oh, I love it.
This is the dolphins. So I've got a special affinity with this crop circle. One of the most, well, I think, it's hard because I've been in so many, but this was probably one of the most beautifully laid crop circles I've ever seen. The synchronicity in there was just amazing. So it was at Eastfield, which is where a lot of the crop circles, Polly Carson and Tim Carson, farmer and farmer's wife, made a phenomenal amount of money in the early days, and now he doesn't want them on his land. I get that, but you know,
milked it, didn't he? Now,
milked it now, yeah.
Somebody's asked if they've got healing properties.
Yes, people have been healed of multiple sclerosis apparently in crop circles. Women though, so there's a woman called Lucy Pringle. She did a lot of health measurements. Out when people go into crop circle, they came out and she measured. It would affect the thyroid in women. So she was always a bit like, you know, be careful when you go in. But yeah, people have been healed. Sometimes you get really heady. And oftentimes when you go in a crop circle that night when you're dreaming, it's mental. Yeah. It's like, and I will absolutely attribute the crop circles to changing my life. What I'm doing now is a direct result of Wiltshire and the crop circles, without a doubt, for me. So they're life changing. So not only do they heal, but they bring a really quite a very strong purpose to your life. So yeah, so it's called the dolphins because it looked like dolphins. The lay inside was absolutely stunning. Not only was it flat, so the wheat isn't cut. Some people think it's cut. It's not cut. The wheat lays flat, and then you've got other wheat that intersects like that. And this one, you went with the grain. If you walked against the grain, so this was going that way. If you walked against it, you could feel that you were walking against it. But the lay was interlaced as well, so there was shadowing here. So you've got this kind of fractalised four corners. It was stunning, but the farmer did come in with his shotgun. And doesn't happen often, but we are trespassing. So I was in this, there was probably 20 of us, you know, and everyone's like, yeah. And the farmer came down ready, he really looked ruddy because he was so angry. And he had a shotgun and he did do it in the air, didn't do it us doing it in the air. And some bloke went up to him. Right, this man,
tree hugger.
Tree hugger. This man was really, really angry, and he went, "You know what, man? This is all our land." And I thought, "Oh no!" So I apologised. I went, "Look, I'm really sorry. I put my hands up. I'm trespassing, but I had to come into it." But people were like, "Yeah, but we own this land." He's like, "This is my bloody field." So we did leave. But yeah, I'm glad I got in it. That's what I want to say.
And Sharon, Demi Lola's just said, "Kathy has healed her pain. Love her."
Thank you, Sharon.
Don't bloody heal mine. Sitting here in bloody agony, I am.
I can't heal my own. So can everyone just send some energy to Dee's shoulder?
No, you don't have to, honestly.
Now that was a corker.
Jesus.
So you've got the all-seeing eye. You've got the star. There was so much imagery in here.
I mean, how the hell
and
did
look at the
anyone do
size
that?
of people in there. These were massive. Look at the tram lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So 7 tram lines is massive. I don't know how many circles because I haven't counted them. But you've got not only your pointed star, you've got your truncated star with your circles and the all-seeing eye in the middle. I don't know what to say about these. They're stunning.
You've got like cornerstones in there as well.
And cornerstones, yeah.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah. So and again, if you I want to make sure that you can all get to see the crop circles that are happening this year. So do, again, follow me on Instagram. I haven't got it on here, but Kathy Mingo _Aura. And again, I'll show you all of the, for the people that have joined a bit later, I'll show you with my drone the actual crop circle, what it looks like from above. But also I'll show you on the video what it looks like on the ground so that you can get both. Okay?
And that's on Kathy Mingo's Instagram.
Kathy Mingo _Aura Instagram. So I'll be doing it from
15th of July.
15th of July for every crop circle that happens down there. And on my Instagram already, I've gone in, there's 2 Instagram thingies, videos of 2 crop circles, okay?
Maxine just said she wonders what the theory is behind the thyroid issues in terms of women in crop circles.
Maxine, I think it's to do with the electromagnetic frequency. So when you go in there, there is a vibrational shift, there's no doubt. I mean, some people feel physically sick. I went with, I took my sister and her 2 children at the time, Reshad and Sarah. We went into a crop circle and Reshad walked in and he was only, God no, I don't know how old he was, 7, 8, 9 maybe. He went, I feel really sick, and he had a headache and he had to go out. We had Jo Lockyer.
Yeah,
when we went into crop circle last year, she had to walk out.
She was all right after, wasn't she?
She was all right after, but you get this kind of electromagnetic churning. So when you put your hands, so you get your hands and you put it against the wheat. So if you're in the circle, you bend down, put your hands onto the wheat, and your hands go mottled. Pull your hands back and they go back to normal. We've had light anomalies in our crop circle, UFO in our picture, haven't we? At Cher Hill.
Oh, loads.
Loads of things. When you go into them at dawn or dusk, the light refraction is as beautiful. People have seen balls of light are very common in crop circles. All sorts of things. Okay.
Yeah, we quite like to spend a few hours of a night in a crop circle, don't we, babe?
Yeah, of course we do.
And Barbara's saying she's just letting everyone know about Crop Circle Connector.
Yes. So, and there's also, there's another place that you might want to go called Crop Circles and More, which is Bert Johansson. And he puts all of the crop circles and their location on his website. And for €15, you can become a senior explorer or something, and then they give you directions. But, you know, the directions are pretty evident anyway. But if you want to know how to get to them, but obviously on my Instagram, I'll tell you where they are as well. Okay? Now, you always should get permission from the farmer. Moving on. Okay. So, crop circles are linked to Fofi Atlantean. So, for those of you that are looking for a book to read, let me find it. Oh, it's somewhere along here. We've got, so it's called the Emerald Tablets of Hermes and the Emerald Tablets of Fofi Atlantean. And it's again an esoteric or hermetic book. Well worth it. Okay. But I want to go into the 5 processes of attaining mystical knowledge, and I want to show you the crop circle in relation to it. Okay? So the first step is called the awakening. The realization that the world as we know it holds a much deeper interconnected path than what is called the corporeal one. Long held beliefs fall down and a new sense of being emerges at this time. Okay? So everyone on this page that is listening to this, I think will have an element of that, as you wouldn't be watching it. Does that make sense? So when we talk about this awakening and this realization, through this time we do leave a lot of our old belief patterns behind as well. And for me, the correlation of this awakening is this crop circle here. So this was the Fofi Atlantean tetrahedron, but it also had interlaced pyramid. Can you see this?
Got cubes in it as well.
Oh, it's got everything in it. So not only have they squared the circle, because you've got the square here, because about crop circles, a lot of the geometry is what you don't see.
Yeah.
So there's hidden geometry within the geometry. So your squared circle, tetrahedron, but you've also got a 3-dimensional pyramid. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And can you see that slight curve?
Yeah.
The pyramid at Giza is not straight. It has actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides, the pyramid at Giza. So the way it was built, it's curved, it's concave. And on the solstice, it creates a star on its shadow. So that is very much about looking beyond and awakening. And that crop circle, when you look at it and when you resonate with it, it really has that it jumps out at you, doesn't it? It jumps out that there is deeper knowledge here. And that is a 3-dimensional pyramid.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't
it? Just a quickie. Jackie's saying her mum and her saw a UFO when she was about 8. Long story, not many people believed her at the time. Now there is a mobile phone mast where it landed. No shock there. Oh my God. Of course there is.
This is also the awakening. I mean, the intricacy of the unseen geometry in this is phenomenal. But it's also, so you've got a difference. You've got in your face, pop out, and then you've got awakening on a much deeper level.
Yeah.
Someone did a 3 and 5-dimensional aspect of this, and it was just mind-blowing. It went into Metatronic Cube. Okay? So the second step is purgation. The stage at what alchemists also called purification stage. We become aware that all of our imperfections and our finiteness within the physical body. So we become aware that the soul is bigger than the body, that the 3-dimensional body is housed outside of ourselves, and that we are infinite and divine. Make sense? And for me, that's the crop circle that represents that. You've got the consciousness, the single point field, the 0 point field. You've got the enneagram, which is all 5 elements drawn in one. And then you've got the star. So you've got the 5-pointed star, which is the quintessence, which about brings everything together. Again, you've got a squared circle, once again. and then you've got a squared circle also within there, and then you've got a squared circle in there. Does that make sense? It goes on and on and on and on. These are all Steve Alexandra
Photos, yeah.
photos. That's his book. Just in case he's on there and wants to say that I didn't acknowledge, I have. Okay, beautiful crop circle that. There was shading here as well. So within the shading, there was also more geometry. Moving on. The third stage is called illumination. So this is an astute awareness of consciousness and our place within it. Old, outdated friendships fall away. Oh, are we in illumination at the
must
moment? I
be,
wonder.
big time.
Away from more like-minded people to attract to our energy. This illumination process can be very powerful. And I said this before, just a minute ago. We are in the illumination stage. We are, what's happening with the phototropic light that's coming in is we're absorbing light. And to absorb light, you have to have an awareness that you are part of light itself.
I just want to interrupt. We've got Roland and Nancy saying hi. Hi, guys. Look forward to seeing you next month.
They're not coming.
Oh.
Hi, Roland. Hi, Nancy. So Roland and Nancy do Sky High Creations in the Netherlands. So it's just go on Sky High Creations, and they do talks with people. And I've done a talk actually on mysticism and crop circles, and there's all sorts of things. Pineal gland.
Roland's got some really good footage.
Yeah, some really good footage
really good.
there. So they're worth a look. So hi guys, sad that we won't see you this year.
Got it.
Maybe we can get you over.
And just quickly, Di said she needs a notebook and a pen when she watches. She can't take all the info in. You have to rewatch these things, Di. I think it's just so much.
I agree. Okay, so I think we, as absorbing light, and you remember that a pandemic is just absence of light absorption. So there are those that are absorbing light and those that are not. I'm not going to go into conspiracy theory because I don't want to taint the circles. However, we are in that period. We are in that powerful light absorption. So for this, the illumination, the crop circles that I think that really highlight this the most are these. Now I'm going to explain these. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
This was really different crop circles. So you've got lines like with little orby things. And on initial, this was Wickham South. So this was the M4 corridor of all places. So you've got Wickham South, and there's a reason I'm saying south and north. I'll show you in a minute. So on inspection, people were like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But right, so you had it on the M4 corridor here, and then on the other side at Wickham North, you had this one. These both happened at the same time, but well, like I said, over the M4 corridor. They were hard to get into. Do you remember?
Yeah, really hard, yeah.
It was like you had to dodge traffic a bit. It's a bit scary. But, and they had tiny little things here, and like these are called nestings. So you had these and these. So they were like that.
Francesca saying her 8-year-old is loving this and getting to stay up late on a school night.
Aww.
So she should be allowed, yeah.
Okay, so you've got this. This is the north. That's the north. That's the south. Okay, so looking at those. Now someone put them together. So the circles were then overlaid. Now they also had the golden section and the golden mean. So everything was perfect within it. Okay, some clever bod put them together. So when it was laid over, it came to a face. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Here. So this is the north and the south overlaid. And there is a very, I'll move my head, but there is a very, very striking similarity to the image of Jesus from the Turin Shroud. So it reveals a face. So that was the first time that technique had been used. Does that make sense? And when you really squinted it, it really does look like putting it over, and it overlaid perfectly. So if that's two blokes in the field with a plank, they're very clever. Okay, the fourth stage is what mystics call dark night of the soul. This is the true purification and dissolvement of the ego. and can be marked by confusion, fear of loss, withdrawal from perceived divine presence, stagnation of the will. We learn more from pain than we do through joy. So this is the most transcendent stage of all. So when we go for this dark, and I think we're having a global dark night of the soul. I really do.
Okay.
I think we are in an absolute paradigm shift of fear and ego fear, releasing out to grief. A lot of people said to me, I feel, and I used to wake up, I don't now, thank goodness, but perhaps in the first sort of 4 months of the lockdown, I would wake up with this and I kept saying to Dee, I've got this horrible, like, portending feeling, and I couldn't get rid of it. It's right in the pit of the stomach. I think it was a grieving, really, of the old way. And the old way wasn't working either, but, you know, we're being almost strangulated into a new way of being. So this dark night of the soul, I think, is represented by the cube. So this is a 3-dimensional cube. So remember, this is corpus.
Yeah.
Magnus opus, corpus. But this, if you see here, this 3-dimensional box is opened up. So this is actually a cube that is opened into multifaceted layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. It's got the quintessence. So all 5 senses working in unity, all the way around it in. So you can live in a 3-dimensional corpus way, but you can also expand. You can expand your awareness. And again, you've got the two. You've got the divine masculine and divine feminine that always embed the geometry. Does that make sense? And I love this one. And, you know, when you're in it, it would just look flat and you would be walking through there and there and there, and it wouldn't make any sense until you see it from above. And this is about expansion and opening up our 3-dimensional into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th dimensions. Make sense? That's just my interpretation. I'm sure others have it.
Yeah. Francesca just wants to say her 8-year-old son as well wants to let you know that he saw a UFO a few years ago on the M3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tanya, I just want to say to Tan, I'm really sorry about your cat. So,
Tanya Devi.
Yeah, so big love to you, Tan. A horrible thing. So we hope they go well over that bridge. So big love. And again, just a representation of how big this cube was. So this is, you know, this isn't easy, and all the wheat was laid down in sort of different ways. And then right in the centre, I don't know if you can see that, you had a little nest. So that's just about, we are at the centre of our own 3-dimensional life, but we can also expand our centre outwards. Okay? Dee Dee, keep going, I don't know what time is. See, this is a subject I could just ran about. I'll try not to. The 5th stage, of which, now, in channel, I've been told that the light has already won. Everything that is playing out right now is just 3-dimensional illusionary bollocks. That's my spiritual word for it. So, the light's won. So all of this darkness is just, it's like the flotsam. It's like the stuff that's left on the surface that just needs to be cleared away. And I really think that's what's happening. Families, all sorts of stuff, karmic stuff is coming to the surface just so we can clear it. So we can move into what is called the 5th stage of transcendence. And this stage is called the unselfing. And I love this because that can have so many meanings. Unselfing mean unlocking from self, unselfishness, understanding that when you unself, you become divine consciousness. We are part of a collective light. We always have been. My physical body, me, Kathy, is just right now is a tiny, tiny transitory aspect of my entire existence. So when we learn to unself, it's a complete surrender to the hidden energetic principles, which we are talking about here, of the divine will. No ego can remain, and one is in total surrender to the universe. You effectively cease to exist in the illusionary world and reject all forms of identification with the corporeal world. So totality with oneness, harmony with nature and yourself. Now obviously this is a really, really, really difficult transformative transmutation stage to I suppose conquer, master perhaps. But when we surrender, we let it all go. But I don't think it means just let it go and just deny it. I think it means surrender without having any attachment to it. But I don't think in a Buddhist way, because I think to unattach and to surrender means a very deep love, an unconditional love. This is a hard stage, I would imagine, for anyone, because we need the ego mind and the mind to exist in this three-dimensional world. However, when we talk about transcendence, the crop circle for me, that really, really sums up this transcendent state is this one. Now, I know a bit about this one. So Milk Hill, August 13th. So it had 409 crop circle. So 409 circles that were rotating around each other. It related to the Mayan calendar. It was absolutely huge. There has never been a crop circle that has been this big since. It was peeing down. So the night before or the day before, this wasn't on the field, confirmed by the farmer. Raining all night long, and they said it wasn't just raining, it was pissing down. Completely soaked. A woman was walking her dog early in the morning and saw this. She went in, and obviously crop circle etiquette suggests that you always walk down the tram line. And she went in, she said, absolutely pristine. No muddy boot marks, absolutely pristine. So that would have happened overnight, August 13th, so maybe what, a 5-hour light window. The geometry of it, and this field was undulating. So you've got to also imagine these fields aren't flat. You haven't got a flat canvas to just, put your compass around and do this. These are undulations. And all of the geometry from this was absolutely perfect. There has been, not since have we had anything so perfect as this. Absolute huge stunner of a crop circle. So, that wasn't made. That wasn't man-made. And no one's come forward. Right, if you made that, well, this became famous all over the world. You made that. Human nature dictates that someone will want to take ownership of that. I don't care. They would. And no one ever has.
And the only things that aren't ego-based are higher spirits, aren't they? Or
yeah, that's right.
energies.
This is exactly, Dee, what we're talking about. When we lose the ego, and trust me, we know this, or know of circle makers in this
what year is it?
Circle.
Somebody's asked what year is it, please?
2001. It's 2000 or 2001. But look it up, it's beautiful. But yeah, we know circle makers, and I'm telling you, they are not egoless by any stretch of the imagination. So now there's a philosophy, it could be earth energy, so the earth imprints. There's also philosophy that there is a higher geometric sense, so the universe leaving messages. Scientists say it's hedgehogs having sex.
What?
Or wind damage. So yes,
those hedgehogs were seriously on it that night, weren't they?
Yeah. So so scientists saying wind damage, or hedgehogs having sex. So if a hedgehog can do that, then fair play to them.
I just want to say, if I'm not reading out comments, there's something going on with
1 month before 9/11. Thank you, Professor.
See, I've not... Professor?
Yeah, hi, Prof.
Oh, Prof, see, I didn't see that. I'm not getting all the...
Okay. So for everyone that doesn't know, so Professor J. Paul, we call him Professor. He's been in the crop circle researching for a long time. And I presume we won't see you this year, Prof, but hopefully if you come over, we can see you.
I'm going to miss these people. Well. Really miss you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird year without the usual suspects.
And Francesca said, oh God, my son said earlier he thinks it's messages. Francesca's 8-year-old son talking about the crop circles.
Yeah, look, man-made, not man-made. I said I wasn't going to get into it. Hello, nice programme next year. Okay, no problem. We will work together. We were going to do, Professor and I were going to do a crop circle talk on sound, which is really becoming relevant, light, but we were doing it with a lovely lady called Anne, who unfortunately has passed through the veil. So if she's listening or watching, we send her love as well. Okay.
An orgy of hedgehogs.
Okay,
Sarah
so
Nichols.
this is the symbol of unity. So it's a triangle encapsulated within the circle, and this is about bringing us together. And when we talk about oneness, it's about the oneness of not only self, and remember we're going back to the state of transcendence, where we unself from the ego and we become part of a much bigger unification of, I suppose, love, divine light, divine essence, cosmological understanding. Yeah, Anna's moved to the Angelic realm. Absolutely, she's beautiful. Right, so this is another crop circle. This Barbary Castle, which is when we say castle, people always think it's a castle. It's not. It's an old hill fort. So a lot of the geometry in this was. Do you know what? There's a book written on this. So if you want to look up some of the really detailed stuff about these crop circles, please do. I've shown you some of these books, but look up for yourself. And I'm really sorry Bodhi's showing his own crop circle. Come here. Okay.
Somebody's asked a question about frequency and sound. I think it was... Oh, so Sam, how would sound frequency affect this, do you think?
Sorry, what's that?
Samantha Monroe said, how would sound stroke frequency affect this, do you think? I think she's...
What, affect the crop circle?
I guess so.
Well, there's... so, if you want to research this, there's always been talk about elongated nodes. So you've got the wheat in the crop circle. Some of them have got what is called blown nodes. So the theory is, I'm not saying this is the right theory, I'm just giving you the theories, is that a lot of these are laid down with a lot of heat, microwave energy, electromagnetic frequency. And some of the soil samples that I was telling you about by BLT Research, they had kind of magnetic spheres in the actual soil samples that stuck together. You know, there's a lot of theories about this. For me personally, when I'm in a crop circle, I'm not crawling around it looking for bent nodes and moving wheat and trying to see if there's stomp marks. I don't care. I want to feel the ambience of it, the landscape, which is really important. I mean, you know, before this, I would never have walked miles to a field, just wouldn't have done it. But now it brings out the majesty of also the landscape, which is very important. So it goes hand in hand. So, and there is something called a crop circle tone. So if you go on Stephen Greer, he does what's called the CE5 protocols, which is about bringing in UFOs and communicating with UFOs. On his, so it is the CE5 protocol. You can put it on your phone. It has the crop circle noise, and it's kind of like boo, and then it goes boom, boom, boom. So it's a tone, and a lot of people do hear things in crop circles.
Barbara's asked, are you going to give a Lionsgate session?
Yes.
To connect with the current crop circles that will probably appear that week.
So Lionsgate, we always get this.
That was
8/8, isn't it?
Yeah.
8/8 Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But also, like I said on my Instagram, if there's anything happening, I'll get you into that crop circle for those that can't come above and below. Okay? But yes, I will, because it would be, there usually is one on the 8th of the 8th. Oh, bless him. Okay. So, you know, I talked about the fifth element. So, I'll just go into this quickly. Alchemists believe that the seed of quintessence may be found in all matter, but that is more easily extracted from certain base substances. All truth is said to be placed in stone, and we talked about stone, we talked about the hieroglyphs, and of course stone is a very, very resilient matter, isn't it? It doesn't wear away and ebb so much. So physics describes physical reality in terms of 4 known fundamental forces. However, since physics has not accepted universal framework, occasionally physicists have postulated the existence of this additional fundamental fifth force. Professor knows a lot about harmonics, tones. I think he's explaining that. Looking for the German researcher on Facebook, and he's describing the sounds from the formations based on the Pythagorean scale. Thanks, Prof. We did talk about the Pythagorean scale a bit earlier. So it's a very, as I said, it's a very, very deep subject. Professor, I think, spent 20 years. This will be my 21st year really delving into the crop circles. I never tire of it. It's never boring because there's always an excited mystery to it. Okay, I'm just showing you some more examples. Okay, so Stonehenge. Can you see that? I know it's not a very good picture. So there was a Julius Thet. So it's a spiralised arm, a fractal glyph. This happened. So someone flew over. I think it was Busty Taylor, was it? I don't know who it was. Flew over Stonehenge, and he said as a pilot he is trained to survey his landscape.
All around him.
All around him in case he has to crash land. So it's embedded in them that they would have to absolutely scan the landscape. Flew over here because he was taking someone to view Stonehenge. Turned round, went back to base. He said literally it would have been probably 20 to 40 minutes, no more, no less. Came back and this was here. And he would have seen this because he's a trained pilot. So this happened in the space of, okay, let's say 40 minutes was the absolute most. That happened in 40 minutes.
Oh, Roland's saying it wasn't Busty.
It wasn't Busty. Okay.
I can't remember who it was.
So if you, in folklore, there's so many people in crop circle world that we know, like Busty Taylor,
Prof.
Colin Andrews, Pat Delgado, a lot of these
Sean
people.
Randall.
Sean Randall. These are people that have...
Barbara Lamb.
Lucy Pringle, Barbara Lamb. Unknown. Lucy Pringle dove into that some years ago. Okay, so it's really interesting. And there's a lot of people that have dedicated their lives to this. Okay? So I just want to read one thing before we go. Embedded in the human matrix, so our soul, our body, written in the sacred geometric language of light, and out of reach of any form of manipulation, is the soul covenant that is our original blueprint. This is who we are, the essence of who we are. The primary infrastructure of all existence is light. All is light, and all light is geometry. And I would say all geometry and light is also sound and tone. As we interact with sacred geometric forms, we are communicating with the higher creation frequencies that resonate with our original blueprint, as existed prior to the genetic modification of human DNA. One of the most important discoveries of the new quantum physics is the holographic nature of the universe. Each human is a fractal aspect of this universal holography. The geometric language of light that forms the underlying matrix of this hologram is the alphabet of our new paradigm. So what they're saying is we are light. We are an expression of divine light. We always have been, we always will be. And though we live in this corporeal, this corpus world, we are so much more. And our light can transcend all of this darkness. Okay? How long have I got?
Yeah, it's 9:30.
Okay. Freddie Silver, thanks Alex. Okay. If it becomes tearing, you can form it. Okay. If you read all of these, you'll learn a lot here, so it's interesting. So crop circles do link with consciousness. I'm going to do this very quickly. Okay. So we all resonate at a certain frequency. Do the ley lines act as a harmonizer to our frequency? So if we're in the ley line, like, was it Francesca saying that her partner
but
felt that but didn't know what it was? I think there is this sort of quantum coherence and this synchronicity in crop circles. Everyone talks about it. It's almost like this kind of interconnectedness with people that don't know each other, but when the circles and the crop circles bring you together, there is an imprint of friendship. I suppose that's the only word that I can say. A friendship that is never broken. It's a bond that's never broken. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not going to go into that. I'll do this, go into a deeper level. Now, can we transmit our pattern through consciousness design into a crop formation? Okay, I know some of you know this, but this is my favourite story. So a group of 4 people, so Dee Dee, me,
Brian and Steph.
Sat right here on this hill. We had
God,
goals.
was that 2013? Jesus.
2013. So this is at Etchelhampton. So July 31st, we were just about to go home, weren't we?
I can't remember. No, I don't think so.
Well, anyway, so we were on this hill. We played some bowls. We did some drumming. We
chanting.
did a bit of singing. And I was downloaded these. So we asked the 2 designs that we asked for. So we meditated. We used crystal sound bowls that were tuned to the throat and the third eye, 787 hertz. We asked for that symbol. Oh, you can't see it. So we asked for that. You can see that, but you can't see this one.
Oh, what is it?
So that is a circle.
Yeah.
With a star like that.
Oh, that's right.
A 4-pointed one, a 4-pointed star. But these are what we asked for. That's a truth symbol, and then that. Does it make sense? So we put that out there, and we all
spent
excited.
a long time doing it.
Long
didn't we?
time. It's about 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we wanted it in the field. Can't see it, but the field here. We didn't want much, did we? So next day we drove to that field, nothing doing. And we were like, oh. But what did turn up the next day was that. So this is, let me show it in a different slide. Can you see that? There's your 4-pointed star, and there's your truth symbols. There. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So that is a pretty accurate manifestation. Now, if we manifested that to circle makers, human ones,
it doesn't matter, does it?
Actually, it's probably even more impressive.
Yeah.
If we didn't, they were listening. Does that make sense? And this, people have asked for designs and they've happened. It's quite, I wouldn't say common, but it's not rare. So do these crop circles enhance our frequency? Because many people stated that their lives have changed since visiting them, myself included. I wouldn't be what I am today without this journey into crop circles, because they have opened up my alchemy, my esoteric knowledge, my hermetic understanding.
You were literally just doing your reception job before
any
of this, weren't you?
I was on the phone going, tennis. I was a really shit receptionist. But I'd always had this kind of understanding and this open vision for things, past life regression, all of that. But this really helped my channel, my psychicness, my awareness, all of it. Okay, so I'll leave it there because I could go on and on and on. But look, thanks for joining me. I need to just give you, I won't go through all of that. That's my Instagram. That's my website. But Kathy Mingo _aura. I will go to every crop circle. I've got a lovely little drone that I freak out when she goes missing. So I take pictures above and below. So please do join me if you want to, I think, come on a journey with me this summer. Well, me and Dee Dee, to all the crop circles that we can see and find. But I'll also do it for sacred places as well. Okay?
Katie Alicia's saying, is the truth symbol of, oh God, it's gone. The Freemason symbol inverted? No.
So this, oh, it's gone. Sorry.
And I just want to say I'm really going to miss Nancy and Roland this year.
Yeah.
I'm really gutted, and Prof.
Yeah, so big love to, Roland, Nancy and Professor. We will, you know what, Nancy, Roland, Professor, I will send you
what we can, yeah.
We'll send you what we can via WhatsApp of all of the circles, if you like, seeing that they can't come over for no fault of their own. Okay. Well, look, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Dee Dee, for always
welcome.
being
I enjoyed that.
my goose, my wingman.
A goose.
And please send the links. I will do. So big love. Join me Instagram, please. And we will see you in the summer. And my next live will be after...
Be in August sometime, won't it?
When we come back from... so it'll be in August. Okay?
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, thanks. Oh, and Jack Grealish, it's coming home. It's coming home.
That's really based. 3D.
I was doing it for Harriet Lee.
Where are they? I can't see them.
Okay. Lovely, thanks.
Love you, Roland.
Big love. And Tam, big love. And everyone, enjoy your summer.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Night. Bye-bye.